Perennial agriculture, it's always has a living root in the soil here. That's part of the regenerative practices. But basically, with this, the water cycle is held intact. It's not broken here because water can come, just like it has for billions of years, come through the plant's roots and get into the soil and into our aquifers. What we've done is broken the water cycle either through having non-permeable surfaces, concrete, driveways, roofs, etc., where water doesn't have a place to get into the system, and also tillage, where it compacts the soil and it has to run off. So what we do is, with this perennial, animals can also graze this, and it doesn't have to be moved to another place. So animals are doing the work that the machines normally would do. So now with animals on the landscape, you can almost have anything to graze. Here we have a small amount of turkeys for Thanksgiving that we're raising, and these animals, you'll see it up close, but they like to eat plants, they like to eat bugs, and it produces a different type of turkey than you would get with your conventionally confinement turkey operation. So we move this coop, basically, it's a movable coop, and you can see as we move from there to where the gator is, they deposited all their manure here, and that fertilizes the grasses, so it gets recycled. So all these microbes, everyone gets to eat. Not only the turkeys are eating, and they're eating the grass, but all these microbes recycle all this manure and make it available for the plants, which gets recycled. And so this is a more wooded area of our farm, and the cows will graze here. There's also a tremendous amount of wildlife out here. So one of the good things about regenerative agriculture, perennial agriculture, nature and agriculture can coexist with each other. Like you can see wild turkeys out here, you see deer, you see a ton of different bird species that are out in this area. You can see those turkeys right there, wild turkeys. See them moving? And just they can coexist, where if this landscape is like this and not being disturbed all the time, we get a tremendous amount of grassland birds that really don't have the habitat anymore, because we've taken that away with modern farming practices. So the farm here is probably one of the higher points in Kenosha County. So as you can imagine, if there's a rain event, the water will try to move to a lower spot at the farm. And there are these gullies that were carved out previously when there was conventional tillage here, where all this water was trying to find a low spot where it could go, and it carved its way through here. And since we put it into perennial agriculture, we don't have a runoff problem. It all gets captured, and this gully has basically stopped the flow during high water seasons. So that's one nice thing, which it doesn't go into other bodies of water around Kenosha and get into the water system with different nutrients that maybe are not what we want in our water system that holds the water here. So here's another animal we have on the farm. We had this animal, the pig, obviously you can see. So we have pigs out here, and these guys, they get to express their natural instincts, which is rooting. So we have them around tree areas or areas we want to kind of get cleared out, and they'll come in and they'll root up the area and clear it out of all sorts of maybe things that we don't want here. If it's buckthorn, if it's multiflora rose, if it's these cedars, and they'll come in and try to just use their natural instincts. And then we feed them out here, and we move them too, like once a week to a new place they have their water, and we sell the pigs, and it's a wonderful product that you don't find that's very much out there in the marketplace right now. Diversity is great because, number one, the animals can select what they want, and they get, all their nutrition from the various plants. They can assimilate that, and we as humans can't do it sometimes. So by consuming those animals, we can get some of these phytonutrients that are in these various plants that are out here that we can't consume ourselves. When we take animals, we put them on a spot, we use the electric fencing to keep them out of certain areas. So the grass gets rest here. So now this grass maybe was grazed a month ago. It's resting. No animals can come back on it, so it can grow back, continue to have a strong plant and root system, and still be able to produce. So it's really about resting the plants and not having animals come back here and continuously graze it, which the animals are only going to select what they like, and what they don't like is going to propagate here, which are usually our weed species and things that aren't so desirable. So if we can still protect our grasses and legumes by, you know, having the animals stay off it and rest, we can come back here again and they can graze again, and we give it rest. So that's the cycle that happens here. You know, and that probably was done, you know, thousands of years ago with the buffalo and the Great Plains that built that really, you know, beautiful soil there as they would migrate. So they would eat the grass and they'd move to another area and another area, and that grass would get like a year to grow back and to put carbon into through its root system into the soil and build those deep, rich soils. But you know, the buffaloes wouldn't stay there; they would continue to migrate to eat new grasses and new grasses. So that's kind of the idea behind what's happening here on a much, much smaller scale. So as you see now, this is recently to a pasture that was grazed. But even this one too, it was grazed probably a week ago. We've already have regrowth here. You can see the plants are coming back pretty quickly. We'll cross over now into the new pasture that they just got given this morning. And right now that they're grazing, they'll be here for one day. Next. But you can see, you know, how content they are. They just graze, relax in this kind of their natural environment out here. There's a hierarchy too here with the animals. I mean, you have your cows, your calves, and they communicate by mooing. You know, the calves will call the moms will call their calf just to make sure they're close. As we come in, maybe they view us as predators because we're not part of the herd. But and then if you hear that, you hear that?
No. Silence?
Silence. That means they're super content and they're happy and they're just eating out here. So that's what you want to hear out here is the silence, because that means they're content. There's a number of solar farms that have popped up in Kenosha and out in Paris, and one that's down the road from us. And the thing about solar farms is they are producing electricity for us in a sustainable way, but they're taking away farmland. So farmland that could be producing food.
Right.
So in a sense that energy gets exported again. It's for the landowner, but kind of once that energy is produced, it gets exported out of the rural community. So how can we get, you know, do more things with that land? And one of them is grazing. So I feel that, you know, if there's a solar farm, great, it produces energy, but they should also try to produce other stuff there still on an agricultural front. So the solar panels, there's underneath them is vegetation. So a solar company, they have two choices. Number one, they can have a company come in with lawnmowers and mow which is having a carbon footprint there by doing that, or they can have animals do that work and produce and the grazer can get paid for that service, and they can produce a product from that. So really it's a way to try and think about how we still can keep agriculture as part of it rather than lawnmowers on those fields to keep that brush down that they need to keep down.
You would expect maybe more, as a city person.
Like poop, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. No, and you know what it is? There are farms that are like that. What it tells you is there's too many animals in too confined of a space. That's what, if you smell manure, you shouldn't, you never smell it out here at our place, but that's because that there's room, and then they're not concentrated in the area all the time. If they are, that's when you get that really strong smell. So now that they're able to move and they can spread it around the whole place, it gets digested by all the microbes here and gets recycled. You don't have that smell or that those are nutrients that's just too many of them in one place.
Hi, I'm Paul Maggio from the Kenosha Regenerative Producers Group. I hope you enjoyed the tour of our farm and saw some of the practices we're doing for regenerative agriculture. Again, if you're in the area, please think about joining our group. And I think no matter what your experience is, if you've been farming 50 years or looking to get into farming, it's a nice group with a ton of experience and a lot of things that we're going to explore about best practices in farming. So please think about joining, and we are a watershed group protecting our local water sources here in Kenosha County. Thank you. Bye-bye.